Welcome back to Due Process Daily, where we break down the legal truths that impact your everyday life. Today we're diving into a topic that is far too often ignored until it's too late. What really happens if you die without a will? This is one of those topics people avoid because it makes them uncomfortable. Death is hard to think about, and estate planning feels like a distant task for some far-off future. But the shocking truth is this. If you die without a will, the law decides what happens to your money, your house, your belongings, and even your children, and that decision might not reflect what you would have wanted. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you've worked your whole life to build your home, your savings, and your investments. You may assume that your spouse, kids, or family would naturally inherit what you leave behind. But the legal term for dying without a will is dying intestate, and intestacy laws take over. These laws differ by state, but in general, they follow a rigid structure that prioritizes certain family members over others, sometimes ignoring loved ones you deeply care about simply because they aren't legally recognized heirs. Take, for example, this true story from New Jersey. An elderly man passed away without ever making a will. He had lived with his partner for over 30 years. They shared a home, split bills, traveled together, and everyone in their lives knew they were devoted partners. But because they never legally married, and he never wrote a will naming her as his beneficiary, under intestacy laws, she received nothing, not even the house they shared. Instead, his distant nieces and nephews inherited his estate, and she was forced to move out of the home she had lived in for decades. Imagine the grief of losing your partner, only to have your entire life uprooted and no place to go. That is the harsh reality of dying intestate. Or think about this situation involving children from a prior marriage. A man remarried later in life. He had 2 kids from his first marriage and 1 with his new wife. He assumed his assets would automatically pass to his current wife and all 3 kids evenly. But without a will stating his intentions, intestacy laws split his estate differently. His wife got only a portion, and the rest was divided among all his kids, including those from his prior marriage, whom he hadn't seen in years. This left his wife struggling to keep the family home because she couldn't afford to buy out the share inherited by her stepchildren. The result was bitter court battles, strained family relationships, and financial stress for everyone involved. Many people think intestacy laws protect their family automatically, but the truth is, the state has no idea what your wishes were. They use a formula that fits their legal standards, not your personal values. Some states, for example, prioritize children equally, whether they're estranged or close, regardless of their age or relationship with you. Others divide everything between your spouse and your children, which can force the sale of a family home just to pay each heir their share. And what about unmarried couples? This is where intestacy can be downright cruel. If you're in a long-term committed relationship but not legally married, your partner is essentially invisible under the law. Even if you've lived together for decades, if you die without a will, your partner gets nothing. Your assets could end up with your parents or siblings instead, people who may not even have had a close relationship with you. Let's talk about minor children. If you have kids under 18 and you die without a will, you are giving up your ability to name who will raise them. The court decides who becomes their guardian. It could be a family member you never would have chosen, or it could be someone willing to take them in, but who doesn't share your parenting style, values, or religious beliefs. A will gives you the power to choose who raises your kids. Dying intestate leaves that up to a judge who doesn't know your family like you do. And then there's probate. Probate is the legal process of distributing your estate, and dying without a will often makes it longer, more expensive, and more stressful for your loved ones. With a will, probate can be straightforward. Without one, your family has to prove who is legally entitled to your estate, and if there are disagreements, this process can drag on for months or years. During this time, accounts can be frozen, property can't be sold, and families are left in limbo while grieving your loss. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't have much anyway. Why would I need a will? Even if you think you don't have significant assets, you likely have a car, a bank account, maybe some personal belongings with sentimental value, or even just the ability to decide what happens with your remains. Do you want to be buried or cremated? Where do you want your ashes spread? Without clear instructions, your family may disagree about what you would have wanted, creating unnecessary stress and conflict during an already painful time. In some tragic cases, dying intestate has led to family members suing each other over relatively small assets. I've seen siblings fight over family heirlooms, furniture, and even old photographs, simply because no will existed to dictate who got what. These battles can permanently fracture family bonds, leaving scars that never heal. One case involved an elderly woman who died without a will, leaving behind a modest estate. Her 3 children couldn't agree on how to divide her jewelry and personal items. The disagreement escalated to the point where 2 of the siblings stopped speaking to the third entirely. They even spent thousands of dollars in court fees, fighting over items that had more sentimental value than financial worth. The mother likely never imagined her children would end up in court over her belongings. But without a will, That's exactly what happened. Here's the bottom line. If you want to have control over what happens after you die, you need a will. A will allows you to name exactly who gets what, who will care for your children, and even who will manage your estate to carry out your wishes. Without one, the state decides for you, and its decision may not align with your values, your family dynamics, or your intentions. Estate planning isn't just for the rich. It's for anyone who cares about their loved ones. A will is often the simplest document in your estate plan, but it is the most important one to ensure your wishes are followed. If you want to avoid horror stories like the ones we talked about today, sit down and write your will. You can work with an attorney to make sure it's done properly, or in some states, you can use online tools for a simple estate plan if your situation is straightforward. Before we wrap up, I want you to think about this. If you died tomorrow, who would make medical decisions for you if you were on life support? Who would inherit your belongings? Who would raise your kids? If you don't have clear answers to these questions, it's time to take action. Your family deserves clarity, and you deserve peace of mind knowing your wishes will be respected. Thank you for watching Due Process Daily. We're here to empower you with knowledge to protect yourself and your family. If this video helped you, please take a moment to like and subscribe so you never miss another important legal breakdown. Share this with someone you care about, because estate planning is something everyone needs to hear about, even if they think it doesn't apply to them. And comment below if you have questions about wills or estate planning, because your question might inspire our next video. See you in the next one.